It's hard to say, well, a makerspace is this or this or this. It's really about the learners that are in the space and what interests them. And once you lock into that, you'll have the best makerspace you could ever imagine.
But the space is just a space. It really is what the teacher does with the space that makes it creative, that makes it a place that the kids want to go to.
When we are implementing these new tools, it's going to be important that we set up the learning environment in a way that we are modeling that it is safe to fail, and that this is an environment where we are going to be learning from mistakes, that our mistakes are valuable, and that there is potential for growth in all of those mistakes.
An open mindset has to happen if in a creative space so that you can shed fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of not having the right answer, fear of the teacher not approving what you do, or the peers are not approving what you do. You have to kind of shed all of that when you come into a space so that you can start to figure out who you are.
We had a computer lab, and the computer lab was just old desktops kind of all in a row, and nobody really used it. So I went to the principal and asked, like, can we change this and change it to something that would be more dynamic with more stuff that we can do, things where we can go to create things.
They need to be able to try and design something for a specific need. They need to be able to troubleshoot when it's not working out. They need to figure out what materials they need. They need to be able to test their prototype to see whether or not that works. It's a perfect fit with our competencies, and it's an engaging way for students to be able to develop it and to get feedback on how they're doing it.
So we have to sit down and teach them how to plan their projects, and that's a big key to it. But a lot of the skills that they learn are the ones that we're looking for: the collaboration, the communication, the resiliency.
It brings a lot of creativity, it brings a lot of collaboration, and brings a lot of fun. I could see that being amazing in the classroom.
Start with one corner, start with one area. I think it's so important that students have that access to, be creative without, not guidelines, but like strict guidelines, or you must do this and it has to look like this. They need to be able to differentiate their learning and show their learning in different ways.
We want students to feel that their learning is theirs. And to do that is to give it back to them. So a lot of these open spaces are really about saying, it's not about the teacher, it's really about the student.
My role as an educator and as a facilitator is more to give the kids the problem, let them go through trying to solve it on their own, asking them questions when they're stuck and not giving them the answer necessarily, and trying just to give them just enough to get them to keep going. Because if I do all the work, they're not learning anything.
In my classroom, I want my students to be critical thinkers, like to be presented a problem and leave with different ways of solving it, to know that there's more than one path to the end. I want my students to outsmart me.
We have to get out of the way more. I think we get in the way of learning too much, and we really have to give it back to the students so that they're at the command of it.